Hello guys, welcome to my channel, full on drama. Today I have brought you all 8 Am I the Asshole Reddit stories. Story 1. Am I the asshole for telling my roommate to stop projecting his trauma onto me? I 24 male live with a few of my friends. One of them, our 23 male, had family members growing up that had bad alcohol problems and therefore doesn't drink. I asked him before we moved in together if he was okay with that because I do like to drink from time to time. He said he was, and it hasn't been a problem the past few months. My drinking habits are well controlled. I don't drink often, once a month at most, and usually closer to every 2 to 3 months. I don't wake up, go throughout my day, or have my boredom interrupted with, "Man, I could use a drink." I don't crave alcohol. I'm not a beer or two after work type of guy because I don't like the taste of alcohol that much. I just enjoy its effects. If I'm going through emotional problems, I especially stay away from alcohol. That's just bad juju to combine the two. When I do drink, it's on the weekend. I have nothing important going on the next day, and I'm in the right mood where I think, man, it'd be kind of fun to bump some tunes, play some video games, and chat with some friends and have a few drinks. I make a few cocktails, measure my intake, and usually have about 8 to 10 shots worth. Falls under binge drinking, but considering how rarely I do it, I'm really not concerned about it. I've asked if I'm disruptive and have been told no, I am not, mostly because those nights I'm in bed a solid 2 hours before the rest of them go to bed. Yesterday, R pulled me to the side and did an intervention on me about my drinking problem. I wondered what he was talking about, and eventually it devolved into a fight where I told him to stop projecting your fucking trauma onto me, dude, because it was basically him comparing polishing off a handle every night to taking half the year to finish off a single bottle. We're not talking now, and he is obviously mad at me, which makes me wonder, am I the for what I said? Edit: I am not drinking 8 to 10 shots of straight liquor, back to back, and getting completely obliterated in 30 minutes. I fucking hate the taste of straight liquor enough. I physically cannot do this. This is 8 to 10 shots, because I measure out my drinks with a 1.5 ounce jigger, in mixed drinks over the course of 4 to 5 hours. Story 2. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to ask her friend to leave? My wife has a friend. We can call her Berta. Berta likes to show up unannounced, often in an emergency, and late at night. My wife has been friends with Berta for years and through rougher circumstances. I've seen my wife wake me up and herself up in the middle of the night to go pick up Berta from the airport. We've offered Berta a place to stay on our couch in the past. The problem is Berta never really asks, nor does my wife. I show up, she is already there, and my wife asks if it's okay. She uses our bathroom to get ready for work, but doesn't ask if it's okay Berta even stay the night. Berta has stayed a few nights now. Each day, waits until evening, and I say something and my wife says that the day is included in asking to stay for the night. Then another night passes. I come home today, after a stressful day, and expect to get some privacy. I go to my bedroom and Berta is sleeping in my bed, with my wife, talking about their day. I passive-aggressively texted my wife that I had to take a massive, stinking crap, and I hope Berta doesn't mind hearing or smelling it. Both got upset. I feel like my boundaries and consent is being violated. I'm tired. I just want to be home at peace. I just want to be gross in peace. I want quiet again in my home so I can grade. I want to watch my shows in peace. My wife thinks I'm being cruel, that I have too many rules and like she can't have friends. Only today she left me know Berta is houseless and has nowhere to go. So I guess she is staying longer? My wife says since it's her house too, I can't say what happens with her guests. Money is tight for us as is. I support us on my own income, and Berta uses a lot of electricity while I'm at work and eats our food. I'm upset my wife didn't tell me this before I said yes. I want my wife to have friends, I really do, but this friend overstayed her welcome. Am I the asshole for asking my wife to make this friend leave? Update: I attempted to talk to my wife about it, but she didn't want to talk about it with a friend around. So her and Bertha continued last night watching TV loudly in the living room while I was working. Finally, I got up and took the car and left. I just needed to get out. I went for a drive and let my wife know why I was leaving. Bertha left. When I got home, my wife and I talked for 3 hours. I talked to family and friends and they agreed with me. My wife reassured me there's no romantic or sexual things, but she feels guilty for the friend because my wife was in a similar situation in the past. The situation reads as very codependent to me, and I tried to explain to my wife the best that I could that this codependency is impacting me and our marriage. That it's okay she wants to support her friend, but that needs boundaries, parameters, and I need to feel like I can say no, and that if she wants to continue her friendship with Bertha, she will be doing it somewhere other than my house. I made it clear I don't like her. I don't like how my wife treats me around her, and if she wants to continue, she needs to do so elsewhere. And as for the tension around me paying for everything, I let her know that it would make me less stressed if she did find a job. That if she can't understand wanting to come home and unwind, then maybe she needs to see how hard work is. Because I need that empathy as bare minimum from a partner. The lack of caring about my comfort or privacy is what concerns me, especially given our financial situation. She seemed to understand. We worked through it, and I'm looking into couples therapy for the both of us so we have the language or tools to work through it. Story 3. Am I the asshole for reporting my college professor to my school? I, female 21, have been going to college since September of last year. From September to November, we had a really nice lady as our main professor homeroom teacher. She was already at the end of pregnancy when we started the school year, so unfortunately she had to go. In December, we got a different professor, male 38. I'll call him K. K was a nice guy. He wasn't too old, so he got along with a lot of the students. He was funny and everyone who knew him loved him. A week before winter break, he had everyone do a PowerPoint presentation about themselves, which, although some of us found childish, we all liked him, so nobody complained. Multiple students did their presentations before me, and all was fine until it was my turn. I am a contortionist, and the summer before college I got to perform in a traveling circus. I had been to that circus many times before, so it was very cool that I got to be part of the show. Contortion being my biggest hobby, I obviously mentioned it in my presentation. When I mentioned that I got to perform in a circus, and that it was my dream job, Kay burst out laughing. He said, "I've never heard someone be this excited to be a clown." Everyone else in class started to laugh. It's a bit ignorant to assume that everyone in a circus is a clown, but fine. My mood changed, however, when I showed them a picture of me in contortion. Like many poses in contortion, I was pretty much bent in half. When I showed that picture, one of my classmates yelled, "Now that's an arched back." To which Kay, who should be more professional than that, responded, "I bet you're quite popular in the bedroom." My heart dropped when he said that. I could not believe it. I refused to finish my presentation. My classmates said I was overreacting. After class, when I was about to walk out, I turned to Kay and said, "Gross joke." Then he said, "We're all adults here. We can joke with each other. Sometimes you just have to put your big girl pants on and suck it up." I didn't respond and walked out. At home, I could not stop crying because I really felt uncomfortable with that joke. I can usually handle it, but for some reason I felt like an idiot standing there. I told my mom about what happened and she made me send an email to the school. They took it very seriously and said they would take immediate action. January 8th was my first day back at school after winter break. We were introduced to a new professor. She's okay, but she is quite strict and not everyone likes her. She had a long lecture about inappropriate comments and how we as adults need to respect boundaries since we're no longer little kids. Now a lot of my classmates are mad at me because they are blaming me for Kay being gone. I don't know if Kay still works at our college. I'm not sure what happened to him, but everyone thinks I'm an now. Edit. Please understand I am not from America. I'm from Europe. This is in fact how college works in my country. I know it might sound strange if you're thinking about American college, homeroom teachers and all, but this is how college works in my country. Story 4. Am I the asshole for not inviting my husband's pregnant former coworker to my baby shower because I don't want her to steal the spotlight? Hi, I 30 female am pregnant and due in April. My husband 35 male and I have a baby shower planned next month to celebrate with friends and relatives. This event is very important and meaningful to me as I have not publicly shared the news with my friends and family on any social platform, Instagram, FB. The usual. My husband is super excited to invite all his friends from work and other social circles to the baby shower, most of whom I generally like and get along with except for one. Let's call her Sharon. Sharon is my husband's former coworker and she is also pregnant a few months after me. I never saw Sharon as a real problem up until last week, where my husband and I attended another good friend's baby shower where Sharon was also invited. Prior to attending the event, my husband told me to make sure to wear a jacket and keep my baby bump as discreet as possible, so that I don't steal the spotlight from my friend, which I completely agree and respect. I was shocked when Sharon showed up wearing the tightest maternity bodycon dress one could ever imagine. Her baby bump was extremely prominent and shown in such a way where it essentially foresees the conversation on her pregnancy. This was almost everyone's first time seeing her baby bump. Some people didn't even know she was pregnant. It was incredibly uncomfortable for me as I watched the energy shift from my friend to Sharon. People were more interested in Sharon's baby, asking the usual 20 questions people are keen to ask when they find out someone is expecting. And the worst part is, Sharon seemed to bask in the spotlight and gleefully answered everyone's questions. After witnessing that debacle, I no longer wanted Sharon at my baby shower. Her selfish behavior and attitude made it clear to me that she would try and pull the same exact shit at my baby shower. My husband tells me that not inviting her to my baby shower will cause unnecessary drama, since she is friends with the people who are attending. He also told me that we won't be invited to Sharon's baby shower and that it will start even more drama, etc., etc. I do care about my husband and the connection he has to his friends, but at the same time, I am hurt that he is not taking my side and understanding why I feel so strongly about this. It just infuriates me that he won't even acknowledge that what Sharon did is wrong and in poor taste. In fact, he is making me feel like I am being overly sensitive and that I am overthinking everything. I have no one to turn to, and I feel that the only course of action for me is to take this girl off the invite list. I am too stressed to think about the consequences this may have on the social group, nor do I have the bandwidth to truly sympathize. I just want to be selfish and think about my baby. So, am I the asshole? Story 5. Am I the asshole for saying no to my partner's friends staying overnight at our house after their birthday party? I, 33 female, and my partner, 34 male, were discussing his guests list for a birthday party at our house. I don't want the party at our house, but I digress. He has a close circle of 5 mates who lives interstate. All men are in their 30s with partners and a house apartment. Some have children too. He would like to enjoy their company, and apparently this requires them to stay overnight at our house. What is the etiquette for this situation? Is it normal or not normal? I'm not sure why they can't leave when the after party ends. The after party starts when all family and other friends go home and go back to their hotel to sleep before their domestic flight to go home. For example, my partner argued that when he went to his mates' birthday parties, it was at their place and he stayed nearby at mutual friend's house. Uber back to the friend's place at 3 a.m. in the morning before 10 a.m. flight home. We live on the city's borders and our acreage property has an outdoor patio, a swimming pool or spa, and a fire pit area. The nearest motel or hotel is 2 km away from us. I am already concerned about having up to 35 people at our house considering we have a baby and a toddler, but I'll learn to deal with it. However, having people sleeping over is too much for me. Am I the asshole for saying no? Story 6. Am I the asshole for lying about my pregnancy? I, 26 female, am a white American engaged to an Indian man, 32 male. I met my fiancé 2 years ago, and we started dating privately, as I wanted to protect him from my family. My dad, 66 male, is a sporty and loving guy whom I've always had a close relationship with. On the other hand, my mother, 50 female, and I have always had a turbulent relationship. I've always felt her pressure me to achieve academic success. I also related closely to the almond mom stereotype all my life. She has insisted I try different diets, which pushed us apart. I moved out of the house at 19, and we got along a bit better for a while. However, when I was 21 years old, she started to nag about grandchildren. She has explicitly described her dream about my future family. Around that time, I also realized how racist she is. Clearly, her vision for her son-in-law is a blue-eyed Aryan or something like that. Only men with paper-like skin color seem to be good enough for continuing her bloodline. This is why I wanted to keep my fiancé a secret. Recently, my mother started to send me lists of adorable baby names, reminding me of the fact that I'm not enough for her. Understandably, my fiancé wasn't pleased that I couldn't introduce him to my family, as he had done with his. I tried to explain that my mother wouldn't approve of him because of his skin color, but he insisted we go for at least a small visit. After weeks of fighting, I finally gave in and decided to go see my parents at a restaurant. We met them yesterday. As soon as my mother laid eyes on my fiancé, she visibly tensed up. She was not prepared to see a brown man, as I had only mentioned his American-sounding name earlier. During dinner, she was blabbering nonsense about stuff she doesn't normally talk about and looked uncomfortable. She ordered only an appetizer for herself, and just poked it while staring at her napkin. The irritation of all those years started to build up inside me, as I watched her efficiently ignore my fiancé and talk about the weather for the whole dinner. I thought to myself disdainfully, why isn't she asking about the grandchildren? So, in the heat of the moment, I burst out with, "We're pregnant." She just sat in silence for a long time and looked at me. Finally, my dad stood up and basically dragged her out, saying they'd better get going. Upon leaving, he whispered, "Congratulations." After they left, my fiancé looked bewildered and asked what I was talking about. In actuality, I'm not pregnant and wasn't planning on getting in the near future. He was furious that I'd lied to him and my parents, although I tried to explain all the microaggressions and other things from my childhood that made me blow up like that. He replied saying that he didn't notice any of that during the dinner and said that I can't define racism for him. To me, my mom's behavior was clearly caused by my fiance's looks, but he can't understand this. After that, we haven't talked. So, am I the asshole? Story 7. Am I the asshole for stealing my coworker's dream honeymoon? I have a coworker who loves being engaged. She's the quintessential typical bride-to-be. She has her wedding planned to the smallest detail and talks about it all the time. She's the type to share mood boards and swatches with us during lunch. This isn't something that bothers me, but I wanted to paint a picture for context. I actually like talking to her about her wedding. The issue that recently came up was that she was sharing with us about her honeymoon destination. It's a cute seaside city, and honestly, I thought it sounded great. I shared it with my husband, and we decided that we'd love to take a vacation like that too. Because of our itinerary, we decided to visit a different but very similar city in the same country. Think San Diego vs. Santa Barbara if you're in America. When I came back from my trip, my coworkers were excited to see pictures and hear about the trip, and I shared some chocolates that I brought back as well. The entire time, my coworker was kind of icy, and I finally found out it was because she thought I stole her idea for a vacation. She said that since I've gone on a similar vacation, I've stolen the magic of coming back to talk to our coworkers about it. Even though it's a different place, she says it was similar enough and that it was kind of shitty for me to take the attention when she's been planning on her trip for a long time. I personally don't feel like I did anything wrong since we went to a different city and did different activities than what my coworker talked about. She likes sporty things like hiking, whereas I visited museums and dined out more. But she's so upset she's talking about changing the destination of her honeymoon entirely. So I feel like I'm missing something. Please let me know if I was an asshole in case I need to apologize. Story 8. Am I the asshole for not doing what my friend told me to do? This seems like a given, but I've been driving myself crazy because I might be in the wrong. I won't be disclosing ages, but we have a friend. We can call him R. I own a Minecraft realm. If you're unsure, it is a server I host that is free to join on at any time regardless if I am in it or not. I own the server giving me OP. A server operator referencing the command to make me an operator. I was introduced to this group through another one of my closer friends. He is in R's friend group. I myself do not associate with their group as a whole, but more so A's group. All were invited to the realm due to a sudden peak in interest for the game, and to spare my $8, I invited everyone into it. We all got on and parted ways as we ran and started playing the game. Everyone had obviously died a few times already, and R had died trying to reach us, but he also had joined the game late. Even though I am a morally right Minecrafter, I teleported him to our location because he asked to be teleported. It seemed fair enough because he wasn't on equal leveling as us because we had started before him. We again ran to find a new place to live and he stayed behind. He then asks for another teleport to a friend. We can call him F. Instead of asking for a teleport this time normally, he inserted a slur into the sentence asking me to teleport him to F. I asked him to repeat what he said, and then he added a string of obscenities into the chat. I then put him into spectator mode. For those who aren't familiar, it is when you can do nothing but fly around the world as if you were a ghost. Before I could switch him back into his regular mode, R left the game and banned me from the group, then taking time to text me on my phone number saying I overreacted and I was overdoing it. So, am I the asshole? Thanks for watching. Comment down your verdict. Please like, share, and subscribe.